coming to your place with the boys in the band to rock you away.
Yeah. All right, Truckee.
Thank you. That's one of my originals.
So what's the story again with Neil Young at Zuma Beach you mentioned?
Yeah, he has an album called Zuma.
Yeah.
Zuma.
And he had like a part. He was doing a filming up there or something.
Yeah, it's one of the hangouts. Zero's Beach, little pipeline. Zuma 1 is where he took off the theme for his album Zuma, and everybody used to go there. Almost all the Doobie Brothers have been through there. Oh my God, Fleetwood Mac. Anybody from New York would find it eventually, and it was really a hot spot.
Do you ever go to the Crazy Horse Saloon at the Malibu Inn?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that was one of the big hot spots. The Malibu Pier.
Who do you see play there? Do you remember?
I was very young in that era, and I've seen a lot of bands, a lot of people. I went to Cal Jam 1, Cal Jam 2, Woodstock 69, all the right across from the little, not Point Doom, big pier, Point Paradise.
Paradise Cove.
But the first pier at Malibu, yeah, right across the street was the most famous, all the surf bands. Dick Dale, The Ventures, Surf Safaris would play there. And
you got the Malibu Inn, the Crazy Horse Saloon, they call it, right?
Yeah.
The Malibu Inn.
Yeah, that was a big landmark there. And there was also the Stagecoach Inn that was in Calabasas.
Mm-hmm.
Many people would also get lost. They'd be in Calabasas at the Stagecoach Inn playing, which I set up there a few months ago, right outside the inn in this little park setting. And I played like 6 songs there a few months ago. Just a little honeytone practice amp, my Fender Strat. But there was people there with bird listener amplifiers, and the media has professional ones across the street in buildings that were filming me. And I was hoping, man, maybe I'll get a discovered by big times here today. But though I've never got discovered in the big times. Well, one of the scariest things that could ever happen, and it happened to quite a few rockers, is they were playing at venues and surf rockers in C Street and Ventura Main Street and in Calabasas, and there was a sign that would say, people would tell them, they're looking, how do you get to the beach, to Zuma Beach, where the other big surf scene is, and the rockers at the Zero's Beach, and they tell them to go toward through Highway 23 through Westlake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's all winding roads. There's nothing around. There's services.
Decker Canyon, or
Decker Canyon to Encinal, and back then a lot of these rockers were hung up everywhere through there, in their buses trying to turn around and running out of gas. Girls would freak out, thinking they're getting abducted because, hey, there's nothing around here. They run for their lives. And boys, and man, it was really awful. And I'd go by my 125, and I was 14. When I got 14, I got a motorcycle, went by and see if I could tell people, hey, go. I know how to cut across Encinal. The big buses can only make it through there. They go any further, they're gonna get stuck. And I had a little CB radio, man. And the Rangers would come by, and we were trying to help them out, but all these people were trying to stop the bus and get the girls and the equipment, rip them off. It was like the 1800s, man.
Yeah.
And
it's wild up there, Decker. That's the end of the road.
Yeah. There's no way almost nobody, can make it through the very end. There's 2 horseshoe turns, one after another. And the first car that would try it would crash almost every time. And then that would cause a pileup. Another car would hit them, another car would hit them. And the motorcycles would all slide out trying to get through and crash. It was a disaster. The only other way, other way you could go is turn right on Mulholland and go west, northwest on Mulholland, and you'd eventually find a turnoff that would take you to County Line. County Line was Neptune's net, and that was a big surf scene there. So a lot of people are lucky. They would find the cutoff to Encinal, and the big buses had to find Encinal, or turn back and go back to Westlake, and miss the show. But a lot of them, you know, because the Ranger and myself and Neil Young knew the way, and the other people, the Ace Frehley, he knew the way, and we were able to tell him the right way to go.
Nice.
Yeah, it was radical. It was radical.
You want to play another song?
Okay. This is a song I wrote recently, and I mean, I wrote a lot of my songs in a way, maybe back as far as 1980 and even before that. See if I can get this one up. Holly lady, you're my only one. You know, baby, you set my heart aflame. Standing in your window, what a sight to see. All I've ever wanted was for you to be with me. We were young in grade school. The bell rang to let us out, taking you down into the dugout to make out a while. Oh, Holly lady, you're my one and only. You set my heart aflame. Your hair so long, blonde and free. Your eyes are amber, so bright. My skin on yours, to our delight. Since you were a young girl and I was a young boy, together we would stay. Holly lady, you're my one and only.
Yeah, nice. What's that one called?
Holly lady.
Holly Lady, nice. You have any stories about Topanga?
Oh, you see, Topanga, yeah. The only thing I can remember about Topanga Canyon was that there was Coldwater Canyon, Topanga Canyon, and there was Laurel Canyon. And the newest crowd, rolling from the 60s, it mostly was all in Laurel Canyon, right off Sunset at the store.
Yeah.
That's where, you know, Mr. Mojo Rising was, and the Doobie Brothers, and Jimi Hendrix, and Janis Joplin. The real people were there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they lived at the Biltmore in Hollywood, or they lived at the Roosevelt, or in the all those areas. And there's also a problem with jam-ups in tour buses, and all kinds of people trying to find a Hollywood festival, a summer festival, giving bum raps. Everybody has CB radios too in the buses, you know, and all the CBers are around, but some of them were dishonest. And they were just trying to crash a tour bus and you know, get in there and bang the girls. You know, I mean, it was awful. And then there was people like Charles Manson cults and the LA Strangler. You know, all these people had hit, and it would really be awful. There was shootouts, there was gangs. For the first time, no one's seen any of this before, and the marijuana scene, you know, the pot scene. Everybody is growing pot up and down the canyons, Topanga Canyon, and velvet lily trees.
Yeah.
The big LSD. So now you got a mix of the first time marijuana hit that big LSD. The older people are still drinking martinis, and they swear that they would never do these hippie things in that. Next thing you know, they're smoking pot.
Yeah.
You know, a deadly combination with martinis. So there's car accidents, you know. Oh man, you never seen so many hippies and long hairs and stoners, and the cops didn't know what to do, man. It was really insane. They rubbed out all the footage of that from the new people seeing it, because it may return. You know, enough people see all this, they get enticed, and then they start trying to do it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived through all that. It was really that awful. It was, and then the time would hit where finally everybody's at the beach. You know, you have fires on the beach, you know, bonfires. And people would go fishing and catch these big old calico basses and halibuts, and in the summer yellowtail and salmons. It was so awesome. I mean, God Almighty. There was no religion really. Every now and then you see a surfer, maybe one bus with a peace sign and Jesus loves you. But that's it, you know. And they were cool, and there's no problem.
Yeah.
But you know, you see maybe some of the international people all dressed in bikinis too, and everybody's having a great time. It was really wonderful. But the drug scene was only supposed to be when you're at the concert, in moderation, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody thought, you know, it would probably work out and there wouldn't be no problems, but it completely went into like Cheech and Chong, you know. And they were smoking, and the smoke, and Jimi Hendrix got into smoking pot, and everybody behind the Starwood Club was on Santa Monica Boulevard. There was a Troubadour on one side, on the other side of Hollywood and Santa Monica Boulevard was a Starwood. And it became a surfer, stoner, rocker, punk rock mecca. And behind in the parking lot was all 100 people smoking weed. And the weed that grew natural, that most people grew, and it grew natural in Hollywood Hills, is giant buds of purple sensimilla with lavender hair, which was called the purple bud. And the bud was sticky and gooey, and it was free everywhere through the Hollywood Hills, and people grew it in their backyards. And the biggest Friday night spot was behind a Starwood, and Jimi Hendrix and even Willie Nelson and B.B. King would show up and smoke some, man. I mean, they couldn't believe what they doing here. They're from Nashville, you know, and Elvis would smoke some, man. And I'd be back there smoking, and I remember one time, really early on, that explained where his song "Purple Haze" came from.
Oh yeah.
Everybody had bongs and big giant SC triple-sized joints, and we were passing wine bottles and drunk and stoned, and someone hit a big floodlight. It was a cop car up a ways into the crowd, and when you could see the smoke in the floodlight, it was purple.
Oh,
it really was purple.
Purple haze.
Purple haze, Jimmy said, you know, and he put it in his song. That's where that came from. And naturally, you would not think of the cops are going to do anything, or even think of there's going to be cops or anything. I didn't, most of the people. And some of the cops came in and started, you know, dispersing the crowd with batons, and it became like 3 or 4 cops. And I remember one of the cops grabbed Jimmy and maybe, you know, other rockers, and was dragging him, and I jumped on the cop's back. I didn't compute it was a cop or what is going on here. I thought someone was just harming him, and I was pulling him by the neck and all this, and I knocked him on the ground, and we all ran. But we got away.
You did it.
Yeah. He got up and said, F this, man, forget it. You know, the cops left. I'll never forget that day. Because luckily there was no injuries or car accidents or anything went wrong. I think that's why they let us go. But yeah, there was all kinds of radical scenes.
Some good stories there.
Yeah.